Okay, we'll let me in. And let's see, what do we got?
That 4 o'clock is just an adoption, right?
Yes. Yes, it is.
No, and I'm still getting the not responding, so it's not doing anything.
Good morning, Dennis. How are you?
Good, Your Honor. Good to see you.
Likewise. Trying to figure out H's. Well, I got a couple of devices. I got to see who's on them. I can't tell who else is here. Mr. Corbin is here, so let me get him in. We're not on the record yet, but we are live streaming. Let me see if either of your clients are in here somewhere. Let me ask, first of all, are you expecting them?
I thought Chanda would be here.
All right. She could be signed in or logged in without signing. People don't realize how they can change the name on their device so that I could see who it is. So my only recourse is to click on each of these that don't have a name associated with them and find out who they are. Okay, I just let you in, ma'am, but I don't know your name. Could you tell me, please?
Carly Long.
All right, Ms. Long, I'm going to put a name on the screen so I know who you are, but we're not quite ready for your case.
Okay.
I'm going to put you back in the waiting room once I do this.
Okay.
All right, that's one mystery solved. And let's see. Got an iPad. Let's see who's on that. Okay, ma'am, I just let you in with an iPad. What is your name?
Tanda Hoyt.
That's
okay. So all right, we'll. I'm going to put a name on your screen. And let's see, I've got one more device. Let me see who that is. Does anyone recognize him?
I'm not getting a picture.
Oh, he's just coming in. I can see his picture, but it's not made a connection yet.
Yeah, I don't think his sound is on.
All right, well, I'll get his name so I don't have to ask this question again. Okay, sir with the beard, unmute your device and let me know what your name is, please. You're muted.
Unmute. Can you hear me now?
I can, yes.
Derek
What's your name?
Purcell. Derek Purcell.
Okay, I'm going to put a name with your image so that I know when to bring you back in, and then I'm going to put you back in the waiting room, okay?
Okay.
And I really need to change my Zoom instructions to tell people to plug their names in. Okay, and I don't see, unless Mr. Ramaj is signed in on somebody else's device. Let me just check because I don't recognize this other name.
He very well could be, Your Honor. I know he was calling in from the rehab facility referenced in the motion and response.
Okay. All right, I don't have an image. I'm not sure. Whoever it is that I just let in the courtroom, if you can hear me, can you tell me what your name is?
Sean David Ramaj.
Oh, okay. I'm glad I checked. It had somebody else's name on the device. Give me just a second.
I'm sorry, that's my clinical director.
That's all right. I'm glad I checked. Okay. Shannon put us on the record.
Okay.
We have Dennis Conant representing Ms. Chandra Hoyt. And we have Mr. Cody Corbin representing Sean Ramaj. And both parties are also present. So, Mr. Conant, this is your motion to modify custody.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, I filed a motion. We have come to understand that Mr. Ramaj is no longer residing in New Jersey. Apparently, while he's been in New Jersey, he's been in rehab a number of times and has been involved with the New Jersey Child Protective Services. None of this was known to us at all. He was the one that was casting stones at my client about her prior drug involvement. And apparently he has quite a history of alcohol problems. He's now apparently left the state of New Jersey and is relocated into Florida. I don't know if he's residing with his sister, but he has a sister down there. He's taken the child. None of this was known to us. We're concerned about who's caring for this child while he's been in rehab a number of times. We're concerned about who's caring for the child now. We should have had an option, I think, to care for this child and to be informed as far as what the living circumstances have been for this child. The only thing we know for sure is that he has not been present during any of the FaceTime visits that we've had, and for some of the pickup times that we've had with the child.
Thank you. Mr. Corbin?
Yes, Your Honor. It is true that my client is currently checked into a rehab facility in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He's just there on a temporary basis, has not moved. His presence is strictly at this point for the purposes of obtaining treatment. Contrary to the allegations, this is his first time checking himself into rehab, which he did voluntarily. There was an issue brought up where his alcohol use was reported to the New Jersey equivalent of CPS by his half-sister in retaliation for a tax dispute between the two of them. He has since been investigated by both the New Jersey and Fort Lauderdale CPS departments. Neither of them found any safety concerns. I also have his clinical director here in waiting, ready to testify as to his progress in the program. He's making steady progress and is expected to be discharged in around 14 days. And at that point, he will be completely sober and ready to continue parenting. For the time being, the child is staying with his sister, who lives just 8 minutes down the road from his treatment facility. And she's been taking care of him in the interim period. My client has had regular contact with the child, and there have been, again, no safety concerns with the child. And as for the requested relief here, I do not believe that the moving party has established a change of circumstances or proper cause necessary to revisit the custody matter. While my client's checking into a rehab facility to address some issues he had with alcohol use is admittedly not great. This is expected to be a short-term arrangement, and compared to the alternative, as was established earlier on in the case of residing with Ms. Hoyt full-time, that remaining with my client would simply be in the child's best interest. As for the allegations concerning a supposed move to Florida, my client currently has sole legal custody of the child and was not required to consult Ms. Hoyt before moving himself down to Florida temporarily. And also, he does not have any intention at this time to remain there permanently.
Mr. Corbin, what has been alleged certainly impacts one or more of the best interest factors, does it not?
It does impact the best interest factors, but given the weight on the other side of the analysis, it does not impact it to a degree where it would plausibly have make a difference on the outcome of that analysis.
I think what's been alleged is sufficient, at least for the court to conduct an evidentiary hearing. I think a threshold has been alleged. Whether or not it can be proven, of course, is another question. I don't think I have much choice here except to order an evidentiary hearing. Whether or not I would change custody is obviously fully dependent upon how I would evaluate the factors and what the burden of proof would be, which is probably likely to be the higher standard required to change custody. As to the move, you are correct that Mr. Ramaj, with sole legal custody, can't be denied the ability to change the child's domicile. However, he still has to ask the court's permission. And the reason for that, even though I can't deny the request, it gives me an opportunity to weigh into, well, how is this going to impact parenting time? And do changes need to be made to the parenting time in order to address that? So, frankly, for a temporary change, I don't know if there's any law that actually speaks to that. But in any event, I think a minimal threshold has been alleged. I don't think I have much choice but to schedule an evidentiary hearing so that I can evaluate the best interest factors. So what I will do, Mr. Ramaj, how long is your program? I mean, at the longest, what would it be?
35 days, I think, is the longest.
Okay. Well, and so you're scheduled to be done. I'm assuming you've already been down there for some period of time.
Yes, sir. Today is day 15. I've been sober for 14 days.
Okay. So obviously, I want to get you a chance. Is it your intention, if you're discharged successfully from this program, to return to New Jersey?
For the time being, I do have interest in moving down back to Fort Lauderdale. I was born in Boca Raton, so this is my home state.
All right. Well, I'll include, although a formal request hasn't been made, I will include in the evidentiary hearing the issue of the change of domicile. I won't require you to file a motion so that it can be addressed.
Thank you.
What I'll get with my secretary who handles domestic matters counsel and have her get with you to arrange a date to do an evidentiary hearing.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's done.
Okay, let's see who's next. Okay, this is the matter of Long versus Pucel.
Yes.
And we have Ms. Lauren Yakimoff representing the plaintiff, I believe.
Yes, Your Honor, Miss Long.
All right, Ms. Long is present and Mr. Pucel is also present.
Yes.
So we're here. Mr. Pucel filed objections to the ex parte order, which certainly was his right when an order is entered ex parte. So it was a pretty lengthy objection. Ms. Yakimoff, I assume you have had the opportunity to review it.
Yes, Your Honor. I was not served a copy, but I did request one from the clerk's office yesterday and was provided with one through them. So I was not properly served, but I did obtain a copy.
Okay, I guess the two things I need to address today are whether or not I should continue the temporary order in place, and then secondly, when I can get something scheduled to determine what an appropriate custody order should be after having a chance to review the evidence. I'm assuming because there's an ex parte order in place, there hasn't been any conciliation attempt.
No, Your Honor. There is a FIG conference scheduled for April 6th, so just about a week and a half here. So basically, our request at this point would be to keep the status quo pending that FIG conference and the temporary order from the friend of the court.
So what's the date? You said that's a conciliation conference?
Correct, Your Honor. That's April 6th.
April 6th. Give me just a moment to look at the temporary order. Mr. Pucel, I'm assuming since the time of the temporary order, you've not seen your child?
No, we stay together.
Oh, are you staying together now?
Yes.
Well, that
It
kind
says
of.
It says it in my objection.
My understanding, Your Honor, is after the minor child was returned, there has been kind of an on and off again staying together situation. My client's position is that Mr. Pucel, they were trying to work things out. She has been present when he has been around the minor child in a supervisory type of role. So I guess in the interim, putting an order in place that there can be supervised parenting time would be amenable to my client, so long as it's her supervising. I think this whole relationship has been a little back and forth. So I don't know that they're staying together consistently, but my understanding is in the last month since the ex parte has entered, there's been some back and forth with Mr. Purcell being there or being perhaps at another girlfriend or child of another mother of another child's home. So that's kind of been the situation.
So, Mr. Purcell, have you been able to see your child despite the ex parte order whenever you want to see the child?
No. If I'm not there, I don't get to see her unless it's on her terms somehow, some way.
All right. Well, that was my immediate concern. A lot of times when these ex parte orders get entered, the non-custodial parent gets completely cut off. I'm glad to hear that you haven't been completely cut off. I think Ms. Yikomov's suggestion is a good one, which is I want you to go to this conciliation conference. Sometimes things can get worked out there without the need of me having to weigh in and do an evidentiary hearing. And since it's not that far away, and since you have been able to see your child, you haven't been completely cut off. That's my inclination. Your objections, though, are timely. They will be fully considered. But the only way I can really do that is by taking testimony. And we're not, I don't do that on Thursday morning motion hearings. I schedule a special time where I can devote my full attention to your case. So
Okay.
what I'm going to do is modify the temporary order to provide for supervised parenting time as the parties can agree, and we'll do conciliation. If conciliation results in an order that you can both live with, then that's really the end of my involvement. If
What do you mean by supervised? Like, I don't understand that whole supervised thing. Why do I need to be supervised? I'm not an animal.
And sir, the problem is I've got allegations. I need to hear testimony. And I don't know whether you should have only supervised parenting time or not. I just want to make sure you get some parenting time before I have a chance to weigh the evidence. It sounds like you've been getting some. I know you'd like it to be more liberal than what it is. And indeed, if you cannot work out something at the conciliation conference that you both agree with, the next step is for me to schedule a hearing and to take testimony. At that time, I'll get a chance to hear your full story. I'll get a chance to hear Ms. Long's full story, and then I'll be able to make a decision that I believe is in the best interest of your child. My main goal here was to make sure that you're able to see your child between now and when that conciliation conference takes place. So it's just a very temporary thing until I get a chance to actually hear the evidence.
Okay, I got a question though. So say she wants to put me out today, right? And then we don't come to agreement on me seeing my kid. So how does this work out? I just don't see her until we go to the April 6th court date?
Is there, Ms. Long, someone other than yourself that you would find to be a suitable supervisor?
She's going to say her mother, in which me and her mother don't see eye to eye on nothing either, because her mother is just like her.
Okay, but is there someone else? Go ahead, ma'am.
I'm willing to meet with his mom if that is okay with him.
Is that okay with you, Mr. Purcell?
I'll have to discuss that with my mom. So at this time, no, it's not okay.
I don't think, sorry, Your Honor, go ahead.
You want to make sure your mother's willing to do it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Because my mom doesn't want to be involved in all the drama stuff either. And that's the problem. See,
If the child were simply dropped at your mother's house, you can see the child while, and I'm sorry, I keep saying the child. Is this a boy or a girl?
it's a girl. Her name's Zakaya.
So if as long as your mother's there, I'm assuming as long as you don't have any problem with the parenting time.
No.
Mr. Pusale, what I can do is the temporary order can simply say supervised by Ms. Long or by Mr. Pusale's mother, so that there's an alternative in place between now and then that gives you a chance to talk to your mother. And again, sir, this is just temporary. I don't mean to prejudge anything that's been said here. I've got allegations. I need to hear testimony to get to the bottom of that.
Okay. Most of those allegations are false too, but
Just so you
Okay,
understand, Mr. Pacell, this would be about a month that this would be in place before a new recommendation could possibly be in place from the front of the court. So,
All right, Ms. Yukimov, would you prepare an order to that effect? And
Yes.
then, all right, and if you work things out through conciliation, great. If you don't, let my office know, and I'll try to get a hearing date as soon as possible so that we can get to the bottom of this.
thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. In the meantime, I would strongly encourage the two parents to do your best to try to communicate for what's in the best interest of your child. Yeah, well, and I hear that now, but I also hear there's some tension there. So when you're not staying together, you end up separating if that's what happens. Excuse me. Got a frog. It's definitely in your child's best interest for the two of you, particularly when the child's around, to get along. So your little girl will benefit from that. All right, good luck.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, let's see. We're ready for a pre-trial. What you got, Chad? Come on forward.
I'm just here for the pre-trial. I don't know. I didn't get a copy of the DVD. There's one.
You can leave now.
I don't typically get them. They go to Loxley. I didn't know if they sent it here or not.
Hold on. Yeah, I've got a file. Is that what you're looking for?
Did they send a WD to you?
A WD. The only WD I know is the stuff you spray on things to
It's a
keep.
bit of slang for plea offers. That's why I know WD to kind of keep things moving.
Yeah,
Oh, there's a WD-40 gets
Yeah.
things
See?
moving.
See?
So
Yeah.
absolutely.
that's right. Let's
All right.
sit right there in your right hand.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
No.
Oh, well, by all means. Who prepared it?
Prosecutor. Okay. Can I make a copy?
Oh, yeah. Shannon, take us off the record. I'm going to stop the live